Mike was muted. All right, cool. We're back though. Mike not muted anymore. Let's full screen this. And now we have Alex versus John, both playing very interesting decks.
So we have Alex sitting on Passimian, which is a pretty kind of standard deck. It definitely is a rogue deck, but the lists are pretty similar. It runs the Passimians, it runs Mews so you can copy the attacks. And then John, we actually have on Garchomp Lucario, which is definitely an interesting, and both these players are 2-0, so both these players have won both rounds.
Yep, they're off to a good start so far. So it looks like Alex is going to go first here. I gotta get the timer on here for the round and all set to go. Perfect. Okay, so he's going to Ultra Ball away some stuff here. Looks like a Choice Band and something else. This is a deck I'm not too familiar with. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yep, nope. These are definitely a little bit rogue, which is really cool. We love featuring these rogue decks that are doing well. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of this throughout the week. And then this is...
Like, I'm going to struggle with even the names of these Pokemon, so... What's he got on the bench there? There's a Passimian. Awesome. Fling. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Team play. This attack does 30 more damage for each of your bench Pokemon. So that's a pretty common mechanic. Damage times the amount of bench Pokemon.
And we see the Rolu out at the moment. That does evolve into Lucario, which is run in the Garchomp decks. That is huge.
Sorry. We are both casting and maintaining the stream.
The stream image, so we do apologize for weird, like, Lucario just blew up.
It's all good.
But
we don't have someone dedicated to just running the stream here. It's just all us. We're doing everything. But he's got Mew. That's counter energy attached there?
That is a counter energy.
All right.
So currently not providing a lot of value, but able to attach in the instance that a prize is taken.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that's exactly what he wants to lead off with. He plays one counter energy. But we see 2 Riolu here for John on the bottom, and he also plays an N.
Yep. And there's, like we did mention earlier in the last round, Lucario GX is the thing, but you don't need to evolve for that. So you see the Riolus, and Alex might be curious, like, what are these cards doing? Because I know I would be confused.
Yes, I would too.
Is that a lot better?
But as you see, the Lucario itself does have an ability that once you evolve and you get there with the rare candies and such, that as long as you have a Garchomp in play, you get once per turn, you can tutor for any card you want in your deck.
That seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, but you have to get it set up. You have to get both the Lucario and the Garchomps in play in order for it to take effect.
All right.
So,
both players just trying to set up these. Passimian's actually not a stage 1, which
it's huge.
Really know that.
Yeah, Passimian's just a basic.
He's a basic.
So his entire deck on Alex's side is just going to be basics, and his game plan is to put like a Skyfield into play, spread things out, start attacking with the Mews and the Passimians. Unfortunately, John didn't hit any Gibbles, which is really important because it's really you need to set up, and you need to set those up on turn 1, and he missed on turn 1, so it's huge.
Right. Still trying to look at both of these deck lists, kind of learn these different decks. Yeah, so I was going to say he whiffed that Bridget to get that set up. So we know that turn 1 Bridget's pretty much the most powerful thing you can do, especially when you're
Yes, it is. And he does run 2 Tapu Lele's, so he didn't have any Ultra Balls or anything to Ultra Ball for the Lele to find things.
And that Mew with the counter energy retreats, and we see Mew with VC inactive just to take really fast knockout on this poor little Riolu here.
Yeah, and this might be a really quick game if
definitely
if John doesn't get going here, because but we do see the Bridget. Yeah. Really good draw there, so we're going to probably see 3 Gibbles, maybe a Mew come down.
It definitely looks like Alex has the advantage as far as setup goes this early in the game.
And we do see the Mew, or the Evolution's Mewtwo, pop up, which is a really good tech card in this matchup. The weaknesses that the Passimians have to it makes it really easy for it to one-shot. But it does the normal like energy ball type thing, where the more energy things have, the more damage it does.
Yeah, I think that this Mewtwo, the Evolutions Mewtwo, is a pretty common tech. It's really easy to splash into decks, attacks for a DCE, solid HP. Just really good for anything that's weak to Psychic, and just as a non-EX attacker in general.
Yep, absolutely. Very, very good, and just one of those cards that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, he pulls out 2 of them, actually, because he does run 2. Normally it's a 1-of in these techs, but he's expecting a lot of things that are weak to Psychic, which there's a lot of fighting out there that is weak to the Psychic, so we do see it come out. And it attacks for just the DCE, gives him something to attack with while he's setting up his Gibbles and Lucario, so not only is it a stall mechanic, but it is also very aggressive.
For sure. Yeah, this game is going to be a bit faster than the one we saw last round, for sure.
Absolutely. I do not expect this to be a 45-minute game 1.
No, probably not. So a good change of pace here.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Lots of versatility in the meta.
I'm learning so many new decks right now.
It's so exciting.
So exciting. These don't have Zoroark in that either. No Zoroark here,
What is this meta, guys? I thought Zoroark decks were going to win.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody plays. But nobody is playing them.
Bringing you the interesting decks here from Portland Regionals, that's for sure. All right. So, what is that stadium? Brooklyn Hill, of course. He's gonna play a Brooklyn Hill down. That's gonna allow him to search his deck for a water fighting Pokemon every turn.
Yep. Gets to just chain out the good old Passimians over and over and over again.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep. When your game plan is I never want to run out.
Yep. You gotta keep streaming those little guys.
Because
it's a reliable
why
way
they
to
might
search.
one-shot you, you will definitely one-shot them back.
Yes, exactly. So he's not actually going to be playing Skyfield.
Correct.
Looks like he played a Cynthia, get a new hand here to continue setting up. And let's see. He's going to knock out the second Riolu, going down to 4 prizes pretty quickly here for Alex. And John Healey is going to have to promote one of the Mewtwo's. Got the DC to go with it though, so he's gonna.
Yep. And he also runs so there's 2 copies of Passimian, or 2 different versions of Passimian. He is running 3 of them from Ultra Prism and only 1 from Sun and Moon. So his game plan is to get the 1 from Sun and Moon on the field, then let his Mews attack while they're also getting buffed by the other Passimians.
Right. It makes his Passimians attack do 30 more damage to your opponent's active. So that wouldn't make Mew do 30
Wouldn't let Mew do it, but would let the
Passimian.
actual Passimians itself.
30 damage to Passimian. So that's an interesting way to buff damage that he has in the deck. And yeah, so we'll update that card here and show you this other Passimian we got.
Good old Humongo cards.
Yes, so, and John's just going to take the knockout there. So he goes down a prize, I believe. Wait, is it? Yeah. So it should be 5-5, I think.
Yep, we do see
Took a knockout
the knockout
on that Mew. So now up comes the Mew with the counter energy attached. And a DCE on top of that counter energy to let the Mew return.
actually attack this turn.
Yeah. Choice Band is not really relevant.
There is a couple of GXs in the list, though. There is 2 Tapu Leles and 1 Lucario GX in John's list, so
I think
that Choice Band might eventually hit something, but
I think he probably just wants it out of his hand and doesn't mind if it goes down. That way he's not going to draw it back when he gets End, as he only has 3 prizes now, so End is very real.
Yep. And
He's
with that,
gonna
we do
need an
see the
energy.
Lucario GX come down.
There it is. But if this Mew gets knocked out in return and John can find an N for Alex, then Alex is going to be in a little bit of a tough spot. And yeah, this is the first Lucario we've seen so far today, but I think it was anticipated to be kind of a large part of the meta here at Portland.
Yeah, it has a lot of good counters. Like, it counters a lot of things because of the raw countering the Zoroark, or the fighting type, I guess.
Yes.
Which is why you would play it. It has this really good progression where it can do really significant damage to those things that are weak to it. And the things that aren't, it still two-shots pretty much everything.
Right. It's still a very solid attacker in almost any scenario with a really powerful GX attack, too.
Yes.
To back it up.
We're just a DCE, so you can chain 1 energy attack, 2 energy attack, 3 energy attack, which is also very nice if you haven't used your GX yet. And he is only running 1, so while you're setting it up and doing that progression, you don't have to worry about not having your GX attack.
Right. So we see a Super Rod and get those Riolus back. Kind of slow, very slow start for John on getting his kind of end of the game set up here.
Yes.
He's kind of scrapping around with whatever he can get here with these Mewtwo's, going in, taking knockouts on the Mews. It's pretty nice, but it's not really what his overall game plan is.
Right, yeah, he's not getting... The fact we haven't seen a Garchomp yet, which is his main attacker, he is running a 2-2 split between the Breakpoint and the Ultra Prism Garchomps. Just different attacks to just kind of give him a little bit of versatility depending on what numbers he needs to be hitting. And then the Mewtwo's really need to find some energy to just be able to start one-shotting things. We see another Riolu come down. Ooh, is this a Rare Candy Garchomp? Okay, so we do see the first of the Garchomps come down.
Yeah, that is going to be definitely very good for John. Maybe he can catch up here. It's really only tied prizes, so...
Yes.
And now his board is actually looking a bit better than Alex's, but Alex does find a DC for Passimian there.
Yep, and he's just going to try to fill his bench a little bit more here, make sure that he can do a little bit more damage.
Like, what exactly does this card do?
Let me make sure I know exactly how the math works out so I can plan accordingly. Very, very important.
Definitely. I would be taking a second look as well. It's important to know the potential damage that could come out of your opponent at any given time.
Yep, absolutely.
And Passimian is one of those cards that is difficult to play around, as with all cards that rely on the bench spaces to augment the damage of the attack, because you never know, like, is my opponent going to hit the 5th Pokemon? Or...
Right, is he going to hit the 5th Pokemon? And then you also have to be careful, like, does my opponent maybe run Parallel City? Because it's a card that gets played in a lot of different decks, regardless of what deck it is, because it's just very good to reduce the bench. And so you have to kind of be careful with your Brooklet Hills to make sure that you have one to destroy the Parallel City if they parallel you down to 3, because that reduces your damage by so much.
Exactly. And looks like John is running 1 Parallel City. I don't think we've seen it yet.
No, we've not seen it yet.
But he does have 1.
Oh yeah, just do it on the chicken and say, here's Wait, you said there wasn't room for another call. I don't care if it's a separate page.
Alright.
Same here. It's very helpful to know. Yeah.
So gonna damage into this Lucario. Start hitting into it. That's quite a lot, though. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah. So 190 onto it, just short, I believe. Yeah, and they're making the transition to the stream dice a little bit easier to see.
Definitely. Grateful to them for that, for sure. And does John run any kind of healing here? No, it doesn't seem like he does, so that damage is there. So he has to decide if he wants to let this Lucario go. He does look like he's going to use the GX attack. Alright, so he's going to use Lucario's GX attack. I was just trying to look up the name Cantankerous Beatdown. on here? What's the problem?
No, we're good.
All right, okay, we
Yeah.
got it. We're all good. So anyways, yeah, we saw Muse Cantanker's beatdown, which is actually the same GX attack as Tauros, Mad Bull. So that's doing 30 damage times each damage counter on this Pokemon.
And it has a lot of damage counters, so that's
So,
a
yeah,
lot
it
of
would
damage.
knock out pretty much anything at this point. We're getting into the intense part of the match. We're 3-2 prize-wise here.
So yeah, very, very close. And
But-
it definitely can go either way.
Yeah, this Lucario is about to go down.
Yeah, and with the Lucario going down, that can definitely flip-flop the game to where the prize count's just different because there's GXs on one side.
Yes. Alex is only going to need to take one more prize after this knockout's achieved. And yeah, that's huge because John is obviously, you know, going to take two, and there's no GXs or EXs on Alex's side, so that's 2 clean knockouts on non-EX Pokemon, giving Alex 2 turns to take one single prize.
Yep. Very, very crucial. Alex just playing that prize
And,
count
yeah,
game. We see the
John's going to
handshake.
scoop game 1, so we can go into game 2. I mean, that was close to a 20-minute game 1.
Yeah, like that wasn't for that's a pretty fast game in this meta, I think.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of slow, grindy decks that are just all about resources, and both these decks are just, I'm gonna do my thing, I'm gonna do it quick, and hopefully it's good enough.
I'm excited to be watching this game because this is definitely a matchup I've never seen before. So,
Yeah, definitely very excited.
not really one that most players would
Expect to
test
see.
or account for or
Yeah.
expect, yeah. So it's interesting that we're getting to see both of these decks at 2-0, and quite an interesting game for you guys. So.
So they're gonna shuffle up, take a couple minutes. We can admire how awesome their playmats are.
Definitely both rocking the custom playmats.
Yep.
All right. So with Alex taking game 1, John's going to get to go first here, which I think is going to be a bit of a big deal in this for him, especially since he's using stage 1s. He's going to be able to evolve a turn faster.
Yep. Just being able, and hopefully he actually sets up his bench on turn 1. 'Cause
Right.
Unfortunately, he missed last round.
He did.
Where he wasn't really able to get any Gibbles or anything out.
We didn't see the full effect of the partnership between Lucario and Garchomp.
I know.
Their best friendship here.
Yeah. I know. I want John to kind of just do his thing, just to show us what his deck's supposed to do.
I
Because
wanna
he's
see
2-0,
it.
so
Yeah, I want to
his
see
deck
it
does
work.
it, and
Yeah.
it works.
And a Mew start from Alex. Decides not to start with the Coco. Well, it is weak to fighting, right? So
Yeah.
Suppose he doesn't want that out there right away. So Riolu start. Are we going to see a Bridget this time? Not too sure what's in his hand.
Yeah.
Looks like Lucario might be in his hand there. So we have an Ultra Ball, so we could see a Lele for Bridget.
Yes. He does run into Lele into Bridget, getting like 2 Gibbles and a Riolu, or hitting the Mewtwo from Evolutions just to try to set that up. Kind of just, he has to determine what his game plan is this turn, I think.
Yes. Gotta see what the strategy is. He also wants to check for prizes. I mean, this is a critical game because if he loses here, he's out of the series. But if he can get a win here, then he has a chance to come back in game 3, or at the very least, get a tie.
Yeah, absolutely. And with how quick these games going, actually finishing a game 3 isn't actually out of the realm of possibilities.
Definitely. And now that he's kind of more acclimated to the matchup and what his opponent's actually going to do, just kind of hoping for better draws this game.
Yep, absolutely.
See, and there's the Lele, there's the Bridget. Got a Vulpix too.
Yeah, and good old Lone Vulpix has a beacon for 0 energy to just kind of do a Bridget impersonation.
Yeah. But you can get any 2 Pokemon, so
Yes.
it's not restricted to basics you can put on your bench.
Yeah. You can find his evolutions, you can find his Gabites, and
Yeah, should
such.
be useful in helping him set up. But I think that Alex's deck is just faster, so if Alex can start taking prizes again really fast before John gets to beacon too many times, it could just be another game.
See another Coco pickup. It wouldn't surprise me if he discards
Yeah.
the 2, which is exactly what he does. They're just not very good in this matchup.
Yeah. Definitely getting rid of those when you're taking all the knockouts pretty easily. if you're Alex. You don't really need to spread
Looking through his
damage.
deck, I think I only saw 2 Passimians.
Tough to tell, but that would be a downer.
Yes, it would. He does run a full art Gladian that we did see, and I think I caught it right there in the middle. So he could
think I see
waylay
it. Yeah, I see
into the Gladian to find the other 2 Passimians.
That would be advanced.
Like you
Advanced
gotta
play.
find the lines.
Exactly. You could see that happening, but for now,
We're gonna start with an N.
yep.
Oh, yeah, it's the setup turns. You don't need all 4 of them right off the bat right now.
Yeah, they're probably not. It's probably not going to be knocked out
Yeah.
next turn. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to stream them though. So
Yeah, and it's possible that he like hits the DCE here and then hits just a couple of basics,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden he can knock out that Rolo on turn
This
1.
looks like kind of the reverse of the situation that happened last game. Last game we saw Alex bridge at turn 1, and we saw John have to end with 2 basics.
Yep.
So it's kind of a reversal of fate right now.
Yeah.
Let's see what this hand has for Alex.
The difference, I think, is that for John, he has to evolve his things
Right.
in order to start attacking effectively, and Alex doesn't. So that one turn of tempo right there that he's losing is huge. Where, like I said, if he he hit the DCE, just plays a couple of basics, and he can actually just one-shot the Rolu, not a problem.
Yes.
And that's huge.
Absolutely. But it doesn't look like he got enough basics to take a knockout here.
Really?
I'm not.
I can't.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
hard to-
remember
it's hard
if
to
it's
tell.
weak.
I need to see the HP of that Riolu. $70.
Won't be your problem anymore.
So he's got. All right, there we go. The DC is on the active. That makes more sense to me. But
70 HP, is weak to Psychic, so the Mew will
Yeah,
actually
it will
knock it
take
out.
a knockout.
Not a problem with just two things on the bench.
okay.
Right there.
So we see a Cynthia here from John. Gonna get a new hand here. Where'd they go? Are they there? All right,
Yeah, they're there. But
Okay.
both
We
lean
don't
back
have-
in their chairs
yeah,
a little
we don't
bit.
have player cams today, so we didn't unfortunately have player cams or prize cams. It's a little too advanced right now for us, but checking out what he's going to get here from his 6 cards. Definitely going to want Lucario. Definitely going to want Garchomp.
Yeah, just trying to get all of his evolutions out there so that way he can start just executing his game plan.
See a DCE and an Ultra Ball in his hand, I believe.
Yeah, if there's a rare candy in there, he can start attacking with the Garchomp.
I don't see a rare candy, but yes, I'm not sure if we're going to see an attack this turn. Definitely contemplating which things he wants to discard here with this Ultra Ball. This looks like he has a Puzzle of Time in his hand, and I don't think he wants to get rid of that, but he might have to.
Yeah. Tough decisions. We see just
Oh,
a
it's just
DC
gonna
on the
pass.
Evolution's Mewtwo, and then just a pass. And Alex is just gonna execute his game plan, attaches an energy, places some more things on the bench, and shuffles up.
Yep. Cynthia, such a good draw supporter. It's definitely really good, what this format needed. In terms of draw support.
Yep.
So much better than Shauna.
So much better than Shauna.
It's like one card just makes all the difference.
Yep. That is an awkward hand on Alex's
Definitely
side.
pretty awkward. I don't see an energy there. I don't see too much there. Got an Ultra Ball though, so
An
he
Ultra
can-
Ball into Lele at some point.
probably gonna want to save that for next
Yeah,
turn.
and-
Swiftly knocking out that Riolu. Taking the first prize yet again, Alex here. Leaving John a little bit on the reactive side. Still hasn't managed to find any of his
Video
evolutions.
game players. Video game players. You have
There's someone else walking by here talking about playing Passimian, so maybe Passimian's actually a bigger play here than we
anticipated. Yeah,
maybe
it's
there's
very
a
possible.
couple Passimian players here today.
I remember last year at Portland Regionals, it was expanded, and I played against Passimian round 1.
Oh, really?
And it was just like, oh, this is a deck apparently.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen the deck actually place well at a tournament.
Yeah,
that
I have
know
not
of.
either. But
Could be its day. It could be the first time. You never know.
Alex sure is hoping so.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so definitely a tough turn right here. Both players kind of
Checking the resources.
making sure that they have their game plan for the rest of the game set. Contemplating something.
Thinking about it. And yeah, he's thinking about the Lele, trying to figure out what exactly he wants. Does he want to hit like a Guzma or something to just be able to hopefully take out the Passimian? We saw the Ultra Ball come down, which is what the Mewtwo's coming down. So lots of options.
Mewtwo definitely seems like it's the MVP for John so far in this series. Having used it to take pretty much all of his prizes so far. And there goes Mew. Alright, so it's tied up prize-wise, but Alex definitely has the initiative here as he's taken the very first prize. But he's going to want to be looking for backup attackers here. He has this Mew ready to go, but he needs something else. We'll search for a Lele for a supporter. Is that Gladion?
Yes, it is.
Gladion? Gladion? Not sure.
Well, know what it does though. Good old prize card swapping.
It's definitely an underplayed supporter card.
Yeah.
It's an interesting effect.
In Alex's deck, it's really important.
Oh, he
because
plays 2.
Yep.
And then you can just put it back in the prize. It's pretty nice. It's
Yep.
clever. I like it. It's cute. And he gets that Passimian out there, like we mentioned before. He had that prize. So that ended up being a very useful turn. Gonna rescue Stretcher for the Mew, possibly. Get that ready to go on the bench as well.
Yeah. Just fill up the bench, make his damage do a little bit more damage, and then
Getting set
we're
up.
gonna try to get some prize card trading around and hopefully get ahead.
Yeah, he's now at the point where he's going to be taking prizes at like a pretty fast pace, so he wants to get things like that float stone out of his hand, so he attach it to the Lele because he's anticipating getting end probably a couple times here. We've seen Enhanced Hammer from John, getting rid of that DCE. So if he can combine that with an end, that could be pretty effective here.
Yep.
Field blower as
Field
well.
blower, taking out a lot of things. Only 2 cards left in John's hand. He's just gonna go ahead and beacon.
So no end there, but yeah, he already has a low hand size, so it's not too big of an issue. But we did see him Lele for a non-draw supporter card last turn, so that would indicate that he possibly has some other plan for this turn already.
Yeah. And John does run a second Lele, so it's possible he finds like a Lele and a Lucario, or maybe a Gabite. Try to get a little bit closer to the Garchomp.
So we've seen this deck, it seems to be a little bit clunky so far.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Not the smoothest draws.
Yeah. It's not going particularly well. I guess sometimes that can happen when you're not using basic Pokemon as attackers.
Yeah.
It can be a little
Stage
tough.
chews with rare candies are tough sometimes, and that's one of the big downsides of those decks is that with the big EXs and GXs that are in the format, most of the decks are just very aggressive and can just execute their game plan very quickly. And if you have to take 2, 3, 4 turns to set up, you're so behind.
Yes, exactly. And usually that's why decks with stage 2s or traditionally have very like high HP and powerful attacks like Greninja, like Metagross, so they can kind of mitigate that slow start where
Cool,
they're
I'm down a
behind
couple.
in the early
I'm going to be
game.
down
Yeah.
a couple of prices at the beginning, but by the time I get set up, I'm going to one-shot your
Yes,
GXs every
exactly.
single time, and it will never be a problem.
Yeah, like once it gets set up, the deck is just too powerful. This seems like a little bit of a glass cannon. It doesn't seem like it has like the board resiliency of like Greninja or Metagross, even if it were to get completely set up here.
Whiff on the energy retrieval.
Energy Lotto?
Energy Lotto.
Is that what that is?
Good old energy card. Yeah, energy
Yeah,
Lotto.
Energy
Yep.
Lotto.
You're on it.
Oh yeah.
But Yeah,
Energy
she special
low
charge,
tilt, low
put
tilt.
2 of the DCEs that were in the discard back in, and then lottoing, trying to hit those to be able to attack this turn and keep the momentum that Alex had going, but unfortunately he whiffed. So it gives John a turn to maybe turn this around.
Right, so this is a huge turn. This is it's going to be critical. The fact that he whiffed a knockout on that turn, definitely going to allow John space to come back. All right. We got that Lucario. All right. So he's going to beacon again here.
Yeah.
Not sure what's in his hand, if he has a supporter or if he's just choosing not to play one.
Yeah.
Keeping Alex kind of top decking here. Oh, that's
That's
Sycamore.
a very, very good top deck.
Yes. So earlier when he Leylayed for the Gladion, he did leave himself in kind of a tough spot with no backup supporter, but he just got bailed out here by top decking the Sycamore.
Yes. I think there's another energy lotto floating in his hand, and he's gonna really just needs to hit the energy here.
Yes, last turn he whiffed. It doesn't look like he has
Nope.
it again. Yeah, he
Nope.
whiffed it again. He whiffed again the energy.
John picking up
But
a
again,
Guzma
there's
for the
only-
turn.
There's only 4 double colorless and 1 counter, so. So what's in John's hand here? See some Pokemon. I think that looks like maybe the Lucario? Tough to say. Running a bit low on time here. But I think John has the upper hand actually right now in this game.
Yep.
Those 2 whiffs from Alex were just... Alright, and we have
We're gonna pull up
Guzma.
Guzma, pull up the Passimian, move my Mewtwo up that hits for weakness.
bench another Riolu, getting all of those out of his hand. Are we tying up the prize count here? Not exactly.
Not quite.
Alright, we got Cynthia. Hitting into that Passimian for 40 feels kind of bad. Alright.
So, as we see there, we see a knockout coming down on Alex's side. He hit the DCEs this time. He's able to just execute the game plan, which is all he's trying to do is just keep those energies going.
Bench Pokemon, attach energy, knockout.
Over and over and over again,
Yep.
all
That's the
game.
formula.
3 more turns that.
Yeah. And John's going to put up Vulpix here. I'm not sure if he's using Beacon right now. Not sure what's in his hand once again here. Not a lot of information we're missing, but
Yep.
it's all good. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
he
that
did
is
Beacon.
one. Beacon for Gibble. Doesn't seem too strong. I don't think that's really what he wanted to do there. Doesn't seem like the best turn in the world. Now Alex is pretty much free to just take another prize here.
Yep.
Putting him now, it's putting him pretty far ahead in the game, I think.
At this point, it's definitely in Alex's favor to win the game. He has energies down. He's hitting supporters every turn, and John just really isn't doing much.
No, it's kind of sitting back, but I don't think that this slow game plan is really working out for him. Alex's deck is just too fast to allow that. And there's another double colorless in the hand there for next turn.
And yeah, we do see the prize knockout. 2 more turns.
2 more turns. Let's do it.
It's possible that
Field blower, step 1. That's pretty good. Taking
well,
off
it's
some of that
actually
damage.
pretty good. With there's weird math situations where Alex could like Guzma plus like a stadium and stuff to one-shot the Lele.
Mm-hmm. So I think I see a puzzle in his hand and a bunch of several Pokemon. Yeah, I don't think he has a supporter. I think he might be drawing dead.
Yeah.
Which it might be time to use that puzzle to look at the top 3 cards. Of his
Yeah,
deck.
it's one of those things that, like, it always feels bad doing that, but when you get into the point where you're in top deck mode, just firing it off,
Yeah.
and he probably should have actually done it a couple of turns ago.
I think the reason he didn't was because he was using Beacon and thinning
Yeah.
his deck, so he probably prioritized thinning his deck of the Pokemon rather than using it. But there's definitely an argument for skipping one of those beacons and just using the.
Yeah, like that last beacon that he did just to find the last Gibble, it just was so underwhelming for a turn that, like, if he could have set that up to where he just puts a Sycamore on top of his deck, he wouldn't have had to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Digging 3 cards deep isn't super good, but it's better than nothing. Better than drawing dead, that's for sure.
Absolutely. See the Brooklet Hill come down, and another prize coming down on Alex's side. So 1 left. I wouldn't be surprised if we see John offer the handshake here in the next 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I could see that happening. He's gonna promote this Lele, kind of a desperation move. But yeah, I definitely would have liked
Get
to
the
see
rare
that.
candy, but
Finally.
it's so late that
Finally. A little bit late on that.
a couple of turns
one.
ago, and maybe he could have turned it around.
It's definitely he looks pretty sad. I think it's kind of like just a little searching for any play he can make that will keep him in the game.
Yeah. He wants to make sure he's not missing anything, because if you miss something and then realize you could have lived longer and, like, maybe turned
yeah.
it around, that feels worse than just offering the handshake here.
Definitely.
But there's not a lot I think he can do.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that way. And again, I think we just saw this as a result of Alex's deck being faster, more streamlined, easier to set up, relying on basics as attackers instead of those stage 2s or stage 1s.
Yeah, John's deck just has way too many, like, 1 and 2 ofs to make the deck do what he wants the deck to do. To just consistently, every single game, have what he needs.
Yeah, we've got people all day walking up trying to hand us slips.
Because we're right by the slip area.
Next to the judges' table here. Don't hand it to us. We want you to get your round recorded. All right, see, puzzle of the time here. What's he gonna go for?
Looks like an enhanced hammer.
Yeah, enhance. I mean, if you could enhance hammer and take a knockout, and maybe also an N at the same time.
Put him down to 1 card.
1 card, he whiffs energy. Can keep up that end chain going. I mean, it would take a lot, but it could happen. Yeah, we could just start taking people's slips and just be like, oh yeah.
With their mind, haha.
That would be chaos. we could incite some chaos here. We wouldn't do that though. But yeah, so there's the enhanced hammer. On the active, so I guess he's not planning on taking a knockout on that Mew this turn. How much HP does Mew actually have?
I think it's 50.
50.
Maybe it's 40.
He has
It's
a
40.
DC. It's 40. So he doesn't have an energy for that Taco Lele either way to take the knockout.
Yep.
So I think the way he would have to do it is exactly what we said. Remove energy, take knockout, play N.
Yep.
Because Alex's hand is just too big at this point. There's a lot of stuff there. I think he can seal it. Maybe not this turn. I think he's trying to figure out a way to take it this turn though. Is that an energy on the active Lele? Because if it is, I'm confused as to why he didn't take the knockout on the Mew. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, though.
Yeah, so it is 50.
I mean, it would... Alright, well... Yeah, alright, well, okay, sure.
I think it might be a floatstone.
It might be a floatstone, yeah, I'm not too sure. if he had the option to take a knockout there, I feel like he would have done it. So, yeah, it just looks brutal right now for John. He's trying to think of a way, something he can do, but
there's so many threats that he has to deal with this turn.
definitely.
Let's see how fast we get rid of these 4.
I think that is a DC, and I think he hit into the Mew for 40 after E-hammering. We should not dwell on it though. It's
That's
okay.
rough.
It's rough, but this game. Let's just say this game was probably over either way.
Yeah, because he could have E-hammered the one on the back instead.
Yes, right. That would
And
have been,
then just
like we
attack
had
for-
stated right before he
Yeah.
did the play. But I wanted to.
Yeah, we're like,
Yeah,
there's
we're not
energy
sure
there.
about
How do you
that.
win?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, yeah, that'll do
we'll,
it.
we'll just move on. We'll move on. But yeah, I definitely think this game is over, especially after that. He had a chance that turn, but now it's pretty much over. Pretty much the end of this game, I would say, John.
Are you one of them?
Oh,
Which one are you?
it's the DC. I thought so. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was definitely a questionable choice by John that last turn. But
Yeah.
can he save it now?
Yeah, it's tough to say. Like, I mean, I really don't expect him to get out of the situation. Having one prize and just, cool, you knocked it out, but he can just bring up the other immune attached to DCE. He can. We see the Garchomp being active again.
Kind of just taking any chance he has here that Alex won't be able to take the last prize, but I think we're going to see that pretty much right now, and that would be the game, right? He has the plus 30
He has the
damage
plus 30
there,
damage, that's
and
gonna
that's
be-
the game.
So there.
He's kind of resolving this a bit here.
Yep. I deal an extra 30. I deal an extra 30 for both. So he's dealing an extra 60.
Yeah.
Plus the nice team play damage. He's gonna do it, and that's gonna be the match. So we do see the 2-0 win.
What are you
2-0 for Alex over John.